a special program with the Honorable Valerie Patterson, the newly appointed minister within the Ministry of Communities with responsibilities for housing. Minister, thank you very much, and a big congratulations to you on your appointment.
Thank you, Imran.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background work prior to being appointed minister? Because I'm sure there are quite a lot of people who would want to know who's Valerie Patterson, where did she come from, what she used to do, that sort of thing. Can you just give us briefly some background information on yourself
Okay.
and the work you've been doing?
First of all, let me start with the name Valerie Patterson because I've been receiving text messages, WhatsApp. Is this Valerie Sharp that worked with me at courts? Or is this Valerie Adams that I went to school with? Yes, it is Valerie Adams Sharp Patterson. So most persons know me as Valerie Sharp because my entire political and work life was centered around that name. Patterson actually only came into being in 2011. Okay, for my immediate past, I was the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of the Linden Enterprise Network. I say was because I'm no longer holding that position. And I've been the CEO from January 2010. And Len actually came into being as the post-LEAP entity. So some persons would have known of LEAP, which was a European Union project. And it was LEAP being the project and LEAF being the credit facility. So I was the fund manager of LEAF, which was the credit arm of the project. And that was from August 2005 to December 2009. Prior to that, I was the first branch manager of courts in Linden from 1994 to 2005. Prior to that, interesting, isn't it?
Indeed.
I worked at the then Guyana National Cooperative Bank from 1980 to 1994 when I left to manage courts. And I started there as a bank teller, and I rose to the position of senior supervisor. I did manage to earn a scholarship from the bank to the University of Guyana to study banking and finance, and I was successful. And 3 years before that, I had my first job after graduating from the then Wisma Christianberg Multilateral School, which is now Wisma Christianberg Secondary School. After graduation, all the applications I sent out, I was told you were too young to work, as I was just 16 plus. But I managed to get a job of a pupil teacher at the 1 Mile Primary School. So I taught for 3 years and then moved into banking. So that's my work life. As it relates to my social life, I've always been engaged in some organization or the other. And if I begin to list them, you would run out of time, Imran. But just to say a few, I've served as treasurer for a number of years with the Linden Chamber of Industry, Commerce and Development. I was the president of what we call LINFEB. This came out of a visit after we had some persons from Britain, and they wanted to merge education and business. So LINFEB was actually a merger of the two. And the objective of it was that businesses will be able to share with education what are some of their needs, and education will be able to link with businesses. And so you had that linkage. That only lasts for about 3 years. I was a member of several PTAs. I was also, from the religious perspective, I served as women's leader As a young woman, I was always involved with a lot of older women than myself, and it helped me a lot to grow. So I served in the Assemblies of God as a women's leader in the church department, and in the entire of Linden, I was the president for a number of years. And at the national level, I served as treasurer for a number of years. Um, in 2008, I was ordained a pastor of the Flourishing Place Ministry. That's in Linden. And in 2013, I was ordained an apostle. So I currently carries the title of an apostle, still as a senior apostle of the Flourishing Place Ministry. From the political standpoint, I've been in politics for about 25 years or so. My mother was in politics. My younger sister is full-fledged politician. And I served on the Regional Democratic Council of Region 10 from 2001 to 2011 under the chairmanship of Mr. Mortimer Mingo. During that time, I was the chairman of the Regional Women's Affairs Committee, chairman of the Regional Welfare Committee, chairman of the Regional Rights of the Child Committee, and a member of the Regional Tender Board. Then I decided that I think I want to rest politics a little and do more religious work. But when something is ingrained in you, and even though I did not return to the RDC, and that was my own doing, I declined the appointment, I was still doing political work, more of it being with the women's affairs. So I was involved in a lot of advocacy work against domestic violence. And I remember every Friday we used to be out there, peaceful protests, peaceful picketing against domestic violence, because throughout the country it was really, taking a rise, and we wanted to see the end of it. However, Linden and Region 10 was not a place where we had a high level of those incidents, but we didn't want it to rise above what it was. You had a few instances of little domestic, matters. I can't recall really us having deaths as a result of domestic violence. But I really like working. I don't like sitting and wait for anything to be done for me.
With that said, how do you feel about the appointment?
Well, I forgot to say that in this last year, as a result of the national elections, I was appointed one of the two regional parliamentarians for Region 10. And so I said, okay, I am comfortable with this. I'm going to do my best as usual. And I have and still have a big vision for what I want to see Region 10 becomes. And then just last week, I think it was, I got a call from the president. And this was like about 6:15 one morning, that morning. I was not even out of bed fully, that I even mistook his voice for the General Secretary of the PNC. And I said, good morning, GS. That was a real joke for me after. And he said, Valerie Patterson, you're the first person to call me GS. And then I realized who I was speaking to, and I said, oh my God. I said, good morning, Mr. President, how are you? And then he said to me the reason why he called, and that he wanted to appoint me to this office. And I was wondering whether I was still asleep dreaming or whether I was hearing this for real. And I said, yes. Like when a young man asks a woman's hand in marriage, and she would say yes. But after we concluded the discussion and I hung up the phone, I said, "Oh my God, is this for real?" And and immediately began to think of some of the things I would do after the appointment and so on. So,
And what is this vision?
it is a real excitement for me. Um, Not just excited about being appointed, but that I have the opportunity at a bigger level to serve the people of Guyana. I'm satisfied that over the years I have served Linden and Region 10 and I have served well. I have no regrets. And if you leave it up to me, I would never remove from Linden. I was born there, I grew there. The only time I actually left that place is when I was at university and you go abroad for vacation. But my vision for the housing sector, first of all, I am aware of many of the challenges that people are facing, particularly when it comes to accessing their land titles and their transport for their lands. We have too many of active applications in the system that are not processed. And from the time the announcement was made, I've been receiving calls, Facebook messages, congratulations with the after. Oh, I have a application since 2003, whatever. And it's a story that is all over. I'm in Georgetown and I'm meeting people who come, they congratulate, and then they tell you a story. So my first plan is for us to move the process forward. And Imran, whatever is the challenge or whatever is the difficulty in getting it done, I'm telling you, we're going to get it done. Those 25,000 applications that are sitting there, we're going to get them. We're going to get them processed. We're going to get those titles, those instruments into the hands of the owners. And I had a brief meeting on Tuesday with the senior personnel from the ministry, and I shared this with them. I said, this is our first agenda. I don't believe in the land of Guyana, where we have so much land. Somebody should have to wait not even 1 year to get a house lot. Much more 10 years. I mean, it's ridiculous. And yes, there might have been problems, but I'm saying that this APNU AFC government is for progress, is for development. And everything that we want to do here relating to development, land plays an integral part. People cannot, there are very few people in this country who can build a home on their own without the assistance of a commercial institution. And no commercial institution will give you a mortgage if you don't have ownership to the land. And so we have to deal with it. I would like to see our young people owning their own homes. We have a lot of young working people who can afford to own their own homes. And they're told all kinds of things. You have to be married, you have to have children. Why would I say to a young woman, before you own a home, you must have 2 children? What am I encouraging? I mean, it's nonsense. And I would want to see that removed. Why would I say to a young man, before you're given a piece of land to build a home, you should go marry? To put that young lady where? At your mom? Or to go and live at her family? No, I would not encourage that.
Can we see that more? Can we see the ministry focusing more now that you are going to be placed in the seat? Are you there already? It's just a matter of taking up office.
Yes.
Can we see the ministry focusing on encouraging young people, young professionals, owning their own home, like you say, and starting a life? Can we see that soon in the near future?
I'm telling you, yes. We have a lot of home developers around the country, and I would like to see in every region where it is possible for us to have that kind of facility where these developers can make the homes available to young people at an affordable price. We have the banks, the commercial banks, building society coming on board and offering. These banks are very liquid, they have monies available, and offering to our young people affordable mortgages within their reach, that they can own their own home. I if we can have at the end of this year in every region a number of young people who we can show that they were able to put the key in the door and turn and go into their own homes, I think that would be a plus, and that would be a big thing for our youth, our youths. But I remember when I bought my own home and I moved into my own home after leaving my mom's home. I was like, I was so independent. I felt so free. I felt like I have achieved something. That's the feeling I want to give to the young people. When a young man know that he's walking down the aisles with his wife, and after that, after the ceremony, they're going on their own bed in their own home and nobody to disturb them. That's a wonderful feeling. And he would feel as a man. He doesn't have to go and live at his mother-in-law or at his own, family home. For people to say, well, come on, you're sleeping too late. Or somebody knocking at your door for the rent. That's the kind of feeling this government would give to our young people. And I'm telling you, I'm going to make it possible with the staff that we have at the ministry. We're going to make it possible. And I'm going to come back at the end of this year and do another program like this and say to you, Imran, we have achieved.
Minister, we are going to hold you and your government accountable for this.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.